to alcohol, the cause of and solution to all of life's problems.
Mario's long tenure in gaming is nothing short of remarkable. The moustached, mushroom-eating plumber has transitioned each console generation and even jumped into other gaming genres effortlessly. And now, the character is so iconic, he's more recognisable than Mickey Mouse himself. Unfortunately though, not every mascot has been so lucky. So on today's episode, I thought we'd take a look at some long-forgotten video game mascots. But before we start, if you enjoy our content, don't forget to smash that like button, and if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. Cheers!
Did the frog cross the road? He didn't. We've rebuilt one of the greatest video game heroes of all time, and now he's back.
Way back in 1981, the game Frogger graced the world with some of the most addictive and stressful gameplay of all time. But leap forward to today, and I doubt you'll find any younger gamer that even recognises the character. Something that's probably due to the iconic gameplay that made this franchise so beloved by many, facing the same issues as the likes of Bomberman and Pac-Man have also had to contend with. How do you update the simple mechanics while still retaining the elements that made the original game so popular in the first place? Well, the Hopping Green Guy and various developers have certainly tried, with extremely mixed results. Like most retro mascots, Frogger tried to reignite his popularity by jumping into the world of the 3D platformer, and gave us Frogger: The Great Quest, which didn't really go to plan for the much beloved Frog. Over the years, however, we have actually got a few really solid games that expanded on the tried and true tested gameplay in some really fun ways, with some of the handheld titles being a true standout for the series. You probably wouldn't know it, but the character is still actually hopping around today, even if it is only on mobile. Oh, and I've got to mention this, weirdly, Frogger got his own game show in 2021 for some reason.
The greatest video game of the 80s is now the greatest showdown on TV. This is Frogger. Wow, way to go. That's how you play Frogger.
For me, Frogger has been held back mainly due to the fact there's only so much you can do with gameplay that essentially boils down to jumping from one side of the screen over to the next. And also, though he is a character, he's never really had much actual character or personality. He started life as just a frog, and that kind of continued until he jumped into 3D, where he was given a waistcoat which really didn't do much to make the character stand out. Hopefully in the right hands, we will see Frogger back to his hopping best one day soon.
What's up, player?
Just chillin'.
I hear that.
What?
Huh?
Hot.
What?
You can't fight time, but Blinks can. Meet Blinks, an unlikely hero who controls time, using powers like rewind, pause, even record. Cause if he doesn't, time itself will stop.
Bang.
No blinks.
Blinks, rated E for everyone.
For time control, there's no power greater than X.
You better watch, you gonna run into me.
Once upon a time, old Microsoft didn't believe Master Chief was the right choice to be the face of their console, so opted instead to compete with the likes of Sonic and Mario by giving the world Blinks the Time Sweeper, an edgy cat who uses a time-manipulating vacuum cleaner to save his universe. And while the design and persona of Blinks were pretty unspectacular, the game and its time-twisting gameplay was pretty ahead of its time, especially for a game from 2002. Unfortunately though, Blinks did not capture gamers' hearts like Microsoft wanted it to, and after a solid sequel that improved on a lot of the original's flaws, but basically received no marketing and was shipped out around the same time as Halo 2, meaning it stood absolutely no chance of being successful, Microsoft pulled the plug on Blinks. I doubt we will ever see Blinks again, which is a shame as behind the generic mascot was a great premise and some super fun gameplay. Microsoft can't even give fans a new Conker or Banjo, so what chance does a new Blinks game have?
絶好調のメガソフトアレックスキッドのミラクルワールドアレックが繰り広げるスリルとサスペンスの大冒険超ウルトラアドベンチャーゲームアレックスキッドのミラクルワールド
Before the blue blur, known as Sonic the Hedgehog, became the face of Sega, the company's first true mascot was Alex Kidd, a spiky-haired teenager who can use his special kung fu powers to enlarge his fists and punch everything and anything that stands in his way. However, even though the character had been in multiple games, including a crossover with Shinobi, Sega didn't believe that Alex Kidd had what it takes to compete with Mario, so chose to hand over the official mascot mantle to Sonic. That's not to say they have completely buried the character, as he has still appeared in many of their crossover games, like Sega Superstar Tennis and their Sonic All-Star Racing games. The character is still hugely loved by all those that grew up with his insanely fun and addictive platforming titles, and not too long ago, Merge Games blessed the world with Alex Kidd in Miracle World DX, a remake of Alex's first ever title, jam-packed with extra modes, bosses, and levels, and the ability to switch between retro and modern graphics, so you really have no excuse not to celebrate Sega's OG mascot.
Started so simply. Little did I know, my snack was sent by Rez.
You are mine.
Before Conker became the most lewd and rude, iconic gaming character, that mantle belonged to Gex the Gekko, a character who at one point was the official mascot for Crystal Dynamics, who have now moved on to producing the Tomb Raider series.
Hello?
Want to see me change the channel with my tongue?
Where are you?
Open the drapes.
One TV-obsessed Gekko. Revolutionary 3D graphics. It's Gex, head of the Gekko.
Gex may have only seen 3 entries into his franchise, but due to the outlandish, meta, pop culture mocking antics of the character and the games themselves, the green guy still holds a special place in many 90s gamers' hearts. Nowadays though, there really is an abundance of games that all satirize gaming, movies, and pop culture in general, but Gex was one of the OGs, and he really must be celebrated for it. However though, unless massively toned down, I don't think Gex's risky humour and extreme attitude would fly by today's standards.
Last night, I was lost in the jungle with Pitbull Harry, surrounded by giant scorpions and man-eating crocodiles.
Well, Harry and I just grabbed the van, swung through the trees, and over the tar pits and found the jungle treasure. It was really neat.
If you haven't met Pitbull Harry, you're missing the year's most incredible video game adventure. Pitfall for the Atari 2600 and in television.
Since I met Pitbull Harry, no other man will do.
Pitfall, designed by David Crane for Activision.
While this may not look like much by today's standards, rewind back to 1982 however, and Pitfall and its free-moving gameplay was collectively blowing people's minds across the world. Pitfall's first entry is quite literally one of the most influential games of all time, and introduced so many mechanics that are now considered essential to any game. And with every iconic game, we got introduced to an iconic character, simply known as Pitbull Harry. He was kind of like an Indiana Jones-esque adventurer that at one time was as recognisable as all the OG gaming mascots. Harry's popularity and star power didn't last too long however, as after 2 solid sequels that failed to innovate in any meaningful way like the first game did, it was time for Larry to swing into full 3D. But instead of clearing the pitfall that many other gaming mascots had found themselves falling into when joining the 3D revolution, Harry jumped headfirst into and gave us Pitfall 3D and Pitfall the Lost Expedition, both which failed to reignite interest into the once lauded character. After that, we would only see Harry again once more, and that was in an iOS mobile game, which I don't think anyone played. And even though the original game's designer did open a Kickstarter to get a spiritual successor off the ground, it failed to meet its target goal. Right, that's it for today. What gaming mascot do you miss the most? If you enjoyed our video, be sure to check out what forgotten franchises we missed the most. Thanks for watching,